Hey guys, what's going on? Dream River 23 here on this side, the better side. So yeah, how's everybody doing? Good, I hope. It's just a lot less lag through here. I promise. Ow. So how's everybody doing? I've been sick. It's pretty awesome. What about the parody? I'm pretty sure I told you not until June, regardless. So, in June, hit me up. Did I get a break too? I've been going to school for 3.5 years of college. 3 years of college. Yeah, a lot better than YouTube. And I think the quality just is a lot better overall. Let's see, some background noise. There we go. Sounds from Tech. There we go. How's everybody doing out there today? I want to welcome y'all up to a new Dream Stream and go through and have lots of fun. Yeehaw! I guess I can get rid of this. Honestly, my whole point of going over to the other stream, which I could have just put it up in a little update video, was to just give updates on the channel and show like what I'm gonna be doing on the channel. So that's all I was really gonna do over there. Ah, okay. I was like, what? You gonna be getting what? Deal with it. There's no dealing with it. This is awesome bluegrass. I grew up on bluegrass. It shouldn't be too loud. You should be able to hear me well over the music because I can see my levels coming through here. This is like way down there. Dude, I have the volume at 10%. If that's coming down pretty loud, then I should be coming through ridiculously loud because I can see my levels coming through on here and I should be coming through way too loud. If I'm coming through too loud, then you need to turn your volume down because I can't turn mine down anymore. What's up, Draco? Really? Nice. Damn it. I've been, like, I was really sick last week while I was going through finals, and it was no fun having to deal with that. But I still have, like, I had a lot of really bad chest congestion, and it was just, like, terrible. And so I'm still like, I still got the chest congestion stuff going, and it sucks. Hey, did you guys hear about the whole thing that passed a couple months ago that was kind of like pushed under the rug with the whole 3-strike rule? The U.S. government's 3-strike rule thing that they're requiring all of the internet service providers to go and abide by. Brown, have you heard about this?
Yeah, I remember reading about it. Why?
About
What have they done now?
Oh, just like how it got pushed. Like they didn't make a big thing about it. They didn't go through and call any attention to it. It was just like, okay, and this happened too.
Yep.
The thing where basically a 3-strike rule, which they've already kind of had into effect with the Fair Use Act. Fair use policy goes through and governs that anything over, which fair use policy actually is governed by each individual internet service provider company. Comcast being the biggest has the 250 gig cap. If you go over 250 gigs, they can go through and say, hey, no, and charge you more or whatever. With a 3-strike rule, basically if they go over the cap that is governed by the government, then after 3 times you will not ever be able to get internet under your name again.
Yeah, it's stupid.
To go through and stop people from, stealing, pirating, and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? I just downloaded 90 gigs in like 4 hours the other day from a legit purchase of Element 3D. So if you're gonna, and that was in literally like 4 hours. So if you're gonna go through and put some sort of cap like that on there, then yeah, like those are legitimate purchases with receipts and everything. To go through and say, yeah, I have a right to download this 90 gig, because it's a digital download. Unless they start bumping up this fucking cap, then they better fucking change something, because right now I'm streaming at 720p. That's bandwidth usage. Whenever you watch movies on Netflix, whenever you watch 1080p videos on YouTube, and they have ones on there that are 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes long. Fuck, mine are 720p, running 20 to 40 minutes long. I mean, this is all bandwidth that you have to use. Like, are y'all going to raise the cap? Yeah, see, exactly. They're doing it because basically lobbyists are going to the government and really putting a crunch down on them to go through and say, people are stealing our shit. And my rebuttal to that is, regardless of how much work you put into it, there's no fucking reason for you to go through and charge $3,000, $4,000 for your piece of software. If you were to charge something to where it did make sense for people to use it, and you charge them something like $40 or $50 for a software that's used, or make it to where like Adobe, I don't like that they did it, but I gotta say they have a smarter idea with going through and saying, hey, you know what, $30 or $40 a month, and you have access to all of our products. And you have like the cloud service access and everything like that. That's much more reasonable than like $2,500 up front all at once. They have a better idea of doing that. That, and you always get like all the latest updates and everything along those lines. But to go through and the stuff that's most the time stolen, right, when you're looking at software, is games. And I have mixed emotions about that. One, if you're going to charge me $60 for a game, I better not want to do anything but that and have plenty of access to anything but that for the next, couple months. Don't make me spend $60 on a fucking game that I play in 8 hours and then I'm bored with, or bored with in 2. That's just a fucking terrible game. So yeah, torrent that shit, test it out. If it's worthwhile, go buy it. Awesome. But why don't you charge $10 for that game? I bet you if you charge $10 for it, you'd get a whole lot more people buying it, even just to fucking try it. $10, I'll try it for $10. I don't mind losing $10 if I try out a game and I only get a few hours of entertainment out of it. But don't charge $60 for something that I'm going to literally get home, have no way of bringing back because of, if the disc is open, you can't bring it back and all this other bullshit. Don't charge me $60 for that. So yeah, no, but that's the reason why they're doing it, is because they want to stop piracy. They want to put their foot down on piracy. You know who the biggest lobbyist is for this? Still, music industry. Biggest lobbyist for this.
Mm-hmm.
People are stealing our songs. Fucking go through a different route of putting them up. You know what? Or understand the fact that people are going to steal your shit. I have to deal with it all the time. People are going to just yank my shit off of YouTube. There are still people, though, that will support, smaller music.
Yeah. Of course, Microsoft's not exactly helping matters right now. Their latest, app for viewing YouTube on their phones or whatnot, or tablets, has an ad wipe. So any ads that YouTube puts on there gets wiped, and it has a download button. So Microsoft just goes click and download.
Yeah.
Through what YouTube wants.
And see, that's one thing, like, I really don't... The stuff with torrents, okay, that's going to happen. I wish there was a way for them not to do it off of YouTube. All of my songs collectively together across YouTube, all the videos that go through on there that have the ads on the bottom say, hey, go check out my song on iTunes. And I'll rebuttal you there in a second, Robert. But all of my videos across YouTube, my parody videos, have a collective of about 35 million views, roughly. That's if you add them up across the videos. Now, say the quality's good and everything. Obviously, people are liking those. There's dislikes obviously on there. But say there was no way at all of getting it off of YouTube, and people were, instead of going to YouTube, had to go through iTunes and get it through there. Most people will just watch it on YouTube. I still watch plenty of songs on YouTube that I want to listen to. There's a lot of artists out there that I will purchase their songs off of iTunes, and I'll enjoy that. Listen to that way. But most of the times I'll listen if it's good enough, or if I want to hear it in my car or something like that. I will go through and purchase it off iTunes. If you weren't able to download it off of YouTube, and just say 15% of the people that they wanted to buy the song went to iTunes and bought it, I'd be rich. But because people can go through and just go through and either go use the YouTube to MP3 converter, or go through Firefox and use the tools through there, and go through Microsoft, whatever, and just download it that way, I don't have to purchase it. You know what? I don't have to look at it anymore. I can download the whole fucking video, so I don't have to even go back and get views to help out this person. That's where it hurts. Because I'm not, big rich moneymaker, big bags, because, I'm just because I'm on YouTube or whatever. I'm not the Keshas, the Will.I.Ams, the Justin Timberlakes, Jay-Z. I'm not these big, huge artists that are out there that sell arenas worldwide and everything like that. I'm not that guy. I am a small independent person that's not a part of a record label. I'm completely independent, and my only source of income comes through from ad revenue, on the videos that go through when people actually legitimately watch the videos and click on the ads or whatever that they find useful to them, and iTunes sales. So whenever people go through and like my songs, and D23 in concert, whenever they like my songs, go to iTunes and purchase it. And even off of that, because I have to pay royalties out to the people that I do parodies for every dollar spent, 99 cents for a download on iTunes, I get, after everything's said and done, about 50, let's take out taxes on there too. For every dollar spent, I get about 37 cents. So 37 cents comes to me for every time somebody buys a song. That's paying the royalties, that's paying taxes on it that I have to pay for myself. So that's where it's like, it's not a lot of money, and you whenever consider that less than 0.2% of people that actually watch a song will actually download it. It boils down to where after everything's said and done, it's not a lot of money that comes through for it. because people, they just rather download it off of YouTube. But more people should be supporting the independents, the ones that are out there that are, creating new stuff or doing the fun, funny parodies and everything like that. They're not a part of a record label to where regardless of what they do this year, they're going to make like $4 million. You know what I mean? They're not those big guys out there that are doing that. Just an opinion. How's it going, Nielsen? Thank you, Redstone Freak. Demon, shut up. Rebirth! Why are y'all not up in the Dreamstream channel?
User was moved to your channel. User was
Why weren't y'all up here? Grand Talk Power.
I don't know.
Grand Talk Power. There we go.
Oh yeah, now I can talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all can come up here. I have the Dreamstream channel set up here so that y'all can listen to me live. Or if you, I guess if you guys do want to hear the delayed one,
Gotcha.
So yes, torrents. Torrents should not be made illegal. Torrents are a great piece of work, and there's actually a lot of companies that are starting to use torrents now instead of having their own. Think of it as crowdsourcing information, crowdsourcing downloads. All right, and there's a lot of companies now that are starting, especially when you have these big companies. Skyrim, WoW updates, all those, whether you like torrents or not, are going through torrents.
PS2.
Yeah.
They're all torrents because instead of having one person or one server stack that you're going through and getting all your information flowing from, you're actually getting that set up and it's going through and saying, okay, well, we got the same information on fucking 4,000 systems that we can go through and stream it, 5, 10, 15, 20 or kilobits per second, and this doesn't sound like much, but when you have 1,000 of those, that's a lot of bandwidth that you can have going out and coming into you. So you can get the biggest, largest amount of access possible. Not to mention you can have multiple people connecting to that instead of going through and be like, all right, we got one person connected to our server. Oh, wait, this is a big, huge update for fucking WoW that everybody needs. Here's 14 million people going through and connecting to this. Well, if you can send the information out, and then once it starts going out to those other people's servers or what they have on their computers, and then them getting bits of that information taken out, little bits, little tiny bits. I'm talking about like bytes of information, not, megs, that it works out. Robert, you can ask politely. Say, could you please change your color? Not, change that color now! But Cam, if you wouldn't mind, it's harder to read those colors. Where are we at? Permissions. Y'all can't get in? You can't even get into the Dreamstream channel?
No.
Should be able to. Join, okay.
User joined your channel. User joined your channel.
There we go. I didn't realize it was at 1. You still won't be able to talk, but you can at least hear and no, that pink that's fine. I can see that one. It would take out of the 250 gigabytes per month. Okay, I shut up. Shut up. User joined your channel. User left you. Hey, she's back. This is a user.
I think TeamSpeak's trying to start dubstep.
Yeah, really. While user joined your channel.
That was awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, and it would go through, but in that same sense, we're looking at an expanse on the video communications network here within the next year and a half, to where we're actually going to start seeing 4K video that's going to be coming out. You're going to start seeing 4K TVs. All right, these things are ridiculous. I actually got to see some last year through a demonstration that Sony was putting on whenever I worked over at Best Buy. And you're looking at 4K TVs. It's a 1920 by 1080 resolution television, except 1920 by 1080 spread across 4 ways. So damn it. So it's what, 4320? 1920. Damn it. I need my calculator. Calculator, where are you at? Calculator. Okay. 1920 times 4. Remember this. 7680. No, that's wrong. 1920 times 2. 3840. 1080 times 2. 2160. 3840 by 2160, but it's a 4K. They will... Yeah, so 4... So, what was the first one? 3840 by 2160? And that'll be a standard resolution size. Basically, it's 1920 by 1080 4 times on the screen. So, 2 by 2. And a lot of movies are already being shot in that. Whenever you go through and you have the high definition, crazy, ridiculous, videos that you go through, like at the IMAX theaters and stuff like that, those are shot in 4K. You can buy cameras that shoot in 4K. It's basically, right now, that's considered RAW. There you go, look. 8K is 7680 by 4320. 4K is 3840 by 2160. So, it's going to happen, and whenever that does happen, then you're going to have TVs to where, guess what? 480p is going to look like dick. It's going to be terrible. Can you imagine having a freaking 4K TV and be like, all right, let me turn on the 480p. Woo! I can see every pixel on the screen.
People complain about it now with 1080 and they watch it and they're like, oh god, what was this recorded on potato cam?
So, when you're looking at in that sense, because right now, whenever considering that Netflix does show they show HD. The HD that's shown on Netflix right now is 720p. There's nothing on Netflix that's 1080p. Unless it actually says it in their 1080p. But even that, I think, is very few. And the reason is because of their bandwidth limitations on streaming from their server side. But they show 720p through there. And that's the thing. I don't have a problem with that. 720p looks good. Fuck, I don't put any of my videos up that are higher than 720p. Because most people, they go through, and if they are watching the video, like a lot of times, most people play it, and they'll be playing Minecraft and basically just listening to the audio. They're not really watching what's on the screen. And not to mention, most of the times if they do, they're not going full screen because most people have one monitor. And they multitask. So they'll have it to where it's, in 480, like the native resolution on the side, or they'll go up to that little mid one, which that's what I usually watch in, is that little mid one, whenever you have the selections on YouTube. And I watch it in 720p, so you can get the higher quality audio. You can go through and read the text that's on there, but that's the reason what you watch it in. Going any higher than that isn't really necessary, except for making a lot bigger file size that you have to upload to YouTube. Dual monitor setup. See, I got the triple monitor setup, so.
Hey, quit bragging.
Well, ain't you fancy?
Last year I saw TDKR and 8K and the Odeon in London. Nice. 480p isn't necessarily crap. There are formats that it is good for. Security feeds.
Super Nintendo.
There you go, Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to kill me, this cough.
Sounds like. But you can't be that quick to judge 420 because some people don't
480.
have like 480, 420, either way.
Bit of a difference.
Yeah, big difference. But you can't judge it that quick because some people don't have the ability to record in 720. Some people's computers just can't handle it, but they actually want to start with YouTube.
Yeah. See, my big thing with it is the reason why we started this argument, not even argument, this rant, this why are they going to go through and put a cap on there? And if they're not, especially if they're not going to, the reason why I'm bringing up this a bit more is the other day I was on the phone getting my new internet and everything set up on there, and the guy was like, "Oh, well, sir, just to let you know, last month basically, which was actually a slow month, I went through and I was at like 190, 200 gigs of my 250 gig cap." And all I was, anytime I would do anything was streaming or uploading videos to YouTube or anything like that. That's really all I do. Netflix goes pretty regularly. My wife, whenever she gets off of work, we don't watch a lot of TV. We watch Netflix. We watch series. We watch them commercial free because it's fucking amazing. And I don't mind paying $8 a month for something that's commercial free and fucking amazing. So, unless they start going through and upping that cap, and I'm saying they have to do this before they go through and bring out the 4K TVs or start putting in, 1080p resolution. Because, yeah, on Netflix, I would love to actually have fucking 1080p stuff. I think that'd be great. I would enjoy seeing that. But for them to get that passed and get those things brought in there, they're going to have to update this cap. And can't not say, well, if you go over 250 gigs a month 3 times, and not within like a couple months or 3 times across your lifetime, if you go over this cap, it's how the guidelines are set right now, then you will be banned from usage of ever getting broadband internet in your name. Again, and that's attached to your social. So unless you go out and make some fake person, up and everything like that, and be able to go through and get all the illegal documentation that you would need to go through and get this stuff done, then I don't know, you're kind of screwed. And that's the thing I asked the guy on through Comcast the other day. I was like, do y'all have any plans on upgrading this cap? I was like, my business is online. Everything. I can't do my job without internet. And he's like, well, we do have the business models, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're ridiculous, because I don't want to go through and spend for the base business model, which has 10 megabit down, 2 megabit up connection, is $100 a month. What makes it different is it has the business phone system in there, where you can have up to like 50 phone lines or something like that connected.
Screw that.
Exactly.
No, it's 3 strikes. It's 3-strike system.
Honestly, the first time it happens to somebody that's running a legitimate business, I see one hell of a lawsuit.
There has to be. I mean, they can't legitimate. Well, no, whenever you go with a business class setup, like if you are a business class person, and because that's the thing is, this is made for personal use. 250 gig cap is made for personal use. If you require more than that, then you should be classified as a business, which I say is bullshit. You know what? There's some big motherfucking families over here. We got people with 5 or 6 kids, a mom and a dad, probably an aunt or uncle that lives in the same house or whatever, and they're all sharing that internet. You cannot tell me they're not fucking bursting their cap.
Exactly. Like, for
because little Susie, she's got her smartphone, and she has to always play the Zynga games, and then she loves Scramble. And then you have Johnny, and he loves to play online gaming and look at porn. Because that's just what happens. So I mean, you're going to have bandwidth. You're going to have bandwidth problems that are going through on here. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Bill Gates has a freaking, T1 connection or whatever going to his house. Just, I'm just saying. Dream, where would you want the cap to be at? I would set myself at 100 terabytes. See, now that one right there, because you've got to consider this is for personal use. And in all honesty, the cap, it should be at least 500 gigs a month. Mm-hmm. But that should also escalate with your bandwidth. And that's my biggest thing. All right. So here's how it should go. This is the dream brainstorm right here, and I just got really green in the stream. There you go. I'm back to red now. The lighting is so fucking weird on this camera. So basically, when you look at Comcast's business model, they have different tiers. You know what? We're gonna one up this bitch. We are gonna one up it. We're gonna go to Comcast and check out the tiers right now for what they have for bandwidth. DVR. Blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Where are you at? Xfinity on demand, TV. Nope. Xfinity careers. This is why nobody likes you. I don't care. Xfinity on demand. No. 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 Not voice. It's like, what the hell is that in my camera? Missy just walks in there. She's got Patches. That's what we named Monkey. His name is Patches.
0 fucks given.
What a dick. I don't know what you're talking about. But still.
What?
You.
What do you mean?
You said 0 fucks given.
The cat, Missy, just comes in by her own and she just does what she wants.
All right.
She's a boss.
Xfinity bundles. Bundles. Nope. 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 Customers. Products. There we go. Internet. Xfinity Internet. That was hard as hell to find on this thing. Death math. All right. So let me add screen region. Plaster this bitch right over my face. So this is the packages right here. Okay, so you have a few different ones, right? So this is like their preferred package right here. But we'll look at Performance Starter. I don't know what the hell is why it's $50 and this one's $29.95. It's a special offer apparently. But let's just go off this. So we have the Performance Starter package, which is 6 megabits per second. 6 megabits per second is the same as 60 kilobytes per second. That's all.
600. Or 6,000.
Well, because this is in megabits, so it'd be whenever we go through and take it and divide that by 12.
Oh.
So yeah, this would be 6,000 bits, which it takes. What is it? What are you doing? Did you guys see this paw right here? Come on, Missy. Missy, come on, baby. Come on. Come on. There you go. Okay. Don't fall. Just because she's up here. I got a Missy on my lap. Alright. So I'm pretty sure somebody did that on there. So Yep. So 786 for the 6 megabits per second is 786 kilobytes per second, right? So basically, it's better than dial-up, but I guess by about 10 times. 10 times better than dial-up. Dial-up sucked in the first place, so I want 10 times better than suck. So yeah, so that's your basic package for $50 a month. They have the performance package, which is $29.99 a month for the first 6 months, and then it goes up to $50 a month. So basically, that's $50 a month. But when you're looking at the performance package, that's 25 megabits per second down, 5 up. So let's see. Yes, or for the 25 megabits is basically 3.2. No, it's not 3.2 megabytes down. Actually, it's probably close to that. Well, even if you go through and even if we just take a 10 off there and we make that to where it's 2.5, because I know that whenever I switched over, whenever I was doing the speed test, I was doing it because mine was 55 megabits per second down, and whenever I was going through, it was like basically 5 megabytes per second. download speed, like at top speed on the speed test. Whenever I was using the megabytes, so we'll pretty much go through and say like 50 megabits is pretty much 4.5. 25 megabits per second is probably close to about 2.1, 2.2 megabytes per second down. So whenever you're considering that, that means that the maximum bandwidth that you would be allowed, you can get about 2.1, 2.2 megabytes per second download speed, right? So then when you consider that and say, what if somebody were to go through and download at 2.2 megabytes per second for the entire month? And then add, I don't know, another 50 gigs to that for bandwidth, 50 gigabytes to that, and that's the cap. So it says this is the max you could do if you were downloading, if you were streaming at 2.1 megabytes per second for the entire month. What is a great Minecraft server host for just you? I'm liking Fluctus. That's who I use. I have actually a link for them on my channel page. That's through the affiliate program. Basically, if you sign up, I get like $1 or something like that. $2. I don't even know what I get. I haven't got anybody to sign up through there before. But I'm liking Fluctus. I think they're a really good server setup. But back to what we were talking about. So basically, at that point in time, you have that much bandwidth. And that should be the limit, because that's what it's saying is going. If you think of it as, I always used to use the water analogy. So basically, if you have a water hose and it says, I can put this much water out of this water hose at any given second, and that's all the water you get for that house, then you shouldn't, if that's the water, basically the water supply for the month is everything that come out of this hose for 1 month, then yeah, that should be maybe a little bit more to go through and say, that's the limit. Don't go over that limit. Well, honestly, there should be no fucking way possible that you could. Right? Because that's what the limit says. Now, in that same sense, whenever you go up to the next package and you go to the blast, which is like the 50 megabits per second, then it's double the amount of bandwidth, so you should have double the amount of cap. And so on for the extreme, which is 105 megabits per second, which actually looking at now, like I really want that, but I don't want to pay $115 a month for it.
That makes sense, honestly. Like, if you pay the money to have faster internet and higher down and up, it's...
Yeah, if I'm paying goddamn
if
I'm paying $115 a month for 105 megabits per second bandwidth, yet I got the same cap as this motherfucker right here that's got 6 megabits per second bandwidth? Bullshit.
Exactly.
Why? I can download 5 times as much as... Well, no, a lot more than that. 17 times as much, 18 times as much as him in a second. Yet you're going to give me the same cap? Bullshit. That's just retarded.
So what was the point of this again? Like, why did they actually have the
because
frame of mind to pass this?
the BMI like the big music registration groups, and then Sony, Warner Brothers, all these different ones going through for the music lobbyists. So the Recording Institute of America, all that huge group that went through and caused all this big, fuss and everything like that back in the Napster days, they're still fighting it. And then you look at going through and the American Institute of blah, 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 basically the movie companies, they're fighting because they're like, people are stealing our shit and selling it. People are stealing our shit, and we're not getting paid for it. And I understand that. But they're trying to go through and implement all these laws to go through and say, no, if you download more than this, then you're a hacker. Then you are downloading this, and you are torrenting, and you are ripping off our movies because you downloaded more than this set amount that they say. Bullshit, motherfucker. You know when the last time I actually downloaded a movie was? About 9 months ago. Because I have Netflix. I have things that go through and give me, not to mention I have like the Xfinity on demand where you can watch movies for free on demand. I have YouTube that spends a lot of time. I have things that different streaming services to where I can go through. And yet I'm getting close to that cap that they're trying to set and establish as saying, if you look at more than this, then you're stealing movies. Really? That's what you think? You know what? This video is probably going to go on YouTube because I think this is a good video for people to have arguments. in the comments to state their opinions for people to understand and try to maybe get some of this as an opinion to understand it. So,
Brilliant idea.
I don't know. I mean, I know I should probably get some more feedback from you guys, but I'm just like, this is one of those things that, like, I actually did an essay, like a 13-page essay on this in my composition English Comp 2 or something like that. It was like my final paper
going.
for it. Because I mean, you have to take those things into consideration, and they're basically, it's just like saying, let me get a good analogy for it here. Other than the water one, I thought that was a pretty good one. But what they're doing, in a sense, is going through. You're making laws for stuff before you fully understand what the hell's going on. So it's going through and being like, all right, I got it. All right. Model T came out in what year? 19...
Dude, you're asking the wrong group of people.
Somebody on here's got to be a motherfucking car guy that knows when the Model T came out.
I'm not that kind of car guy.
Neither am I. Model
to
T.
stereos. Yeah, use Google. You're the one with multiple
1903.
monitors.
Yeah, I got it right there. And it's on the screen. So the Model T came out in 1903, right? And that was really, it wasn't the first car, but it was the revolution.
It was the first mass-produced vehicle.
Yeah, it was like the revolution for the industrial era. It like kind of came through, and it was just like, yeah, everybody could actually get a fucking Model T. So before that, everybody was horse and carriage, and there was like a few steam cars and stuff like that. There was a few different vehicles, but it was really rare. Model T came out, and even still, like it was still more of the people that had, money that got through in there. But that's just like saying, okay, so 1903, if we use that as a base standpoint and say, let's go back to 1890. Okay, y'all with me? So we're going to go back to 1890. And there's a guy that's going to go through and be like, we should have a speed limit on the roads. Okay, why? Just in case somebody goes through. And they go, we'll make the speed limit 15 miles an hour. You would never need to go faster than 15 miles per hour. Ever. Why do you need to go so fast? It's not that important. Then the Model T comes out. Model T's top speed was, about 35, 40 miles an hour, I think. On a not bumpy road. And they're like, but they don't change the law. Like, the law stays. And it doesn't ever change because the lobbyists, the people that really wanted it to be there, no, 15 miles per hour is safe. Well, if it never changed, then anything that came out past that 15 miles per hour would be illegal. You wouldn't be able to pass it. You'd have the ability to, but you wouldn't be able to pass it. You're stuck at 15 miles per hour. Can you imagine a fucking Lamborghini Murcielago? And like, yeah, I got it. Oh, finally afforded a Murcielago. Sweet. Better not go above 15 miles per hour. That law's never fucking changed. And that's what they're trying to really get into these points, is to set it up to where these lobbyists, they go through and they try to get these standards set. And that's kind of the same analogy as what they're trying to do. Before the technology comes out for it, they're already setting limitations and saying, no, if you put it above this, then that you're hacking, you're downloading, you're doing illegal stuff because you're above this point. Is that smart? No. You have to be agile. You have to be able to grow. I'm not saying it's a terrible idea because there are, people, there are people that would go through and they would just download and they go through and they sell, I sell fucking, we always used to call them Odyssey movies because over in Korea. But they sell the bootleg. God, get bootleg, $5. It's a way for them to make money. I understand that. And they support their family with it. Understand that as well. But it's doing it from a way that you're not providing. If they were, somehow to pay, pay, $1 for every one that I, sell of these and get money back into the people, don't think they'd have so much of a problem. But it is, I can understand their point of saying we want to make sure that our stuff is protected so that we have money that's actually coming in to produce these major fucking huge movies that people want to see. I understand that point, but there's got to be a different way to do it. Got to be. or it's got to be agile and be able to grow. You know what? Having it something towards the way that's like the max cap that you could download legitly on your stuff, that's smart. Because obviously, if you're going through and trying to connect all these different computers up and get them to where like a single place is going through and downloading all this stuff, and if you are going past your limits, then hey, honestly, you shouldn't be downloading 24/7, 365 days a year. You should not be downloading at max speed of what your internet connection is. There's no way you should be doing that unless you are doing something illegal. I can understand that bit. But literally, I can go through, and if I'm downloading 24/7 with my speeds, I should be able to max it at. We're gonna pull this back up. 250. 1, 2, 3. 250 gigs is basically 250 million kilobytes. And then we'll divide that by, let's take off, actually. Yeah. Divided by 5. 50,000 seconds.
Back when Napster was going on, did they play ads whenever they let you stream their music?
833 minutes. Hold on. 13.8. So at all capacity, if I were to download at my full max capacity, I can hit my 250 gig cap in 13.8 hours.
Oh, wow.
That's if I was actually downloading at a full bit, straight solid for 13.8 hours, which I actually think I have done, quite a bit. But I never really get, the full capacity all the time. It goes through and you have the burst speed and it's like, oh yeah, great. Oh, and then it's going to back off and you're going to get less. It's not a constant steady stream. And even if that calculation wrong, even if it's like something like 13 days, that's still 17 less days than there are in the month. You know what I mean? So I'd still be like fucking screwed. But having it to where it's an escalating, bandwidth. Obviously, if you're paying that extra money, you should have extra bandwidth that you're allowed. HughesNet, fucking satellite, runs on a whole different bit. You know what the bandwidth cap on HughesNet is?
No idea.
100 gigs.
2.5 gigs.
What?
If you go over 2.5 gigs in a single month, you have gone past. You have exceeded their fair use policy, what they view as fair use. If you need more than 2.5 gigs of bandwidth a month on HughesNet or satellite internet, whoa, ridiculous. Unless they've changed it in the last year.
That stuff is incredibly slow, though, so...
Oh, it's just ridiculous. But still, it is internet. Just observations, people. Just opinions.
Oh, yeah. I want to see this on YouTube. I would love to see the shitstorm in the comment section.
I'd really like to see what people have to say about it. I think it's a good bit of information, for people, one. And if there's false information in there, guys, if there's parts in here that I might not have gotten the facts right, let me know the facts. Drop them down. Put them in the comments. I think that'd be a good section for it. To go through and just, have these other ideas. Let's see. Everyone's a greedy asshole. Now think about this. In Finland, they are working on 1 terabit up and down connections. So are we really that damn stupid? In the USA, would be able to give people 1 gigabit up and down. Well, see, and then whenever you look at consideration, because the Google Fiber, isn't that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Google Fiber. What is the limits on those? Google Fiber cities. Yep. Features. That's not it.
Internet bandwidth download and upload is 1 gigabyte.
So 1 gig.
1 gigabit, my bad.
1 gigabit. So 1 gigabit down, 1 gigabit up, which translates over roughly into about 100 megabytes per second down and up, which is fucking awesome.
$120 a month. Yeah.
So for the same amount, money-wise, as remember the Comcast one for the 105 megabits per second down and 20 megabits per second up, was $115. So for about the same price, you can go through and get 10 times the internet through Google Fiber. And I honestly think that Google would go through and say a big fuck you to this whole policy of going through and putting this 250 gig limit. If you have 100 megabytes per second down that you can do, are you really going to, a 250 gig limit, really? You're going to limit that by going through and be like, okay, you downloaded for 3 hours. That's it for the month. That's all you get. Yeah.
Exactly, because I mean, for $120 a month, this is a gigabit plus TV, so you get 1 gig up and 1 gig down. You also get TV service, and they actually include different bonuses.
I'm sure they got something like VoIP and stuff like that too.
They'll give you like a Nexus 7 tablet and terabyte Google Drive and whatever. But they want to get as many people as possible to come and subscribe to that and pay that $120 a month because they know that they can offer stuff like that. Why are they going to support something that's going to limit that per month whenever they can say, all these people are going to do this, we got to provide a service to them?
Yeah. Well, I know that I was really pissed off whenever Congress went through and shut them down. Let's see, where was I at the time? This had to be about 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago? No, I was in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Actually, I guess it has been about 7 or 8 years ago? 6 years ago? Dude, when the fuck was this? One sec. Gonna check my fact. My fact.
You fact.
The only places Google Fiber is installed is Kansas City, Kansas, North Kansas City, Missouri, and then Austin, Texas, and Provo, Utah.
It looks like it was 2008. So I guess that's what, 5 years ago? So actually almost 5 years, because it was March of 2008. It was when they were trying to do this. So hold on. So yeah, Google in 2008 actually tried to go through, and that's whenever they were switching over to digital. I remember that in the US it was like you had to be digital by this certain date.
Yeah.
Google was offering, and for a huge amount of money, they were offering to basically pay off a portion of the fucking deficit. They were trying to purchase all of the white space on the airwaves, which were no longer in use. Whenever you go through and give you guys an idea of the spectrum. So say this is a chart, right? So you have actually graph. No, what do I want for? What am I looking for? Horizontal bar chart. All right, we're going to look at this one right here, and don't mind the stuff here on the side. Add screen region. This will just make it a little bit easier for you guys to understand. All right. So see this chart right here? Imagine each one of these is just a frequency range, okay? And yeah, true, Paint always does work. That would have been smarter too, but I was just looking for something where I wouldn't have to make it right offhand. So this way. So see these right here? You have these different little lines that come through, and we'll say this is like the low end of the frequency range. So this is actually audible hearing, okay? This is why it's got a longer line. But we're not looking at the lengths that are on these, and Missy's back there just making shadows on the wall, which is really funny to me. But say each of these represents a different frequency. So 9, 12, 24, 29. It actually kind of works out going through that sense. Whenever you have these right here, each one goes up. Say these 5 right here, we'll say 6. So from the 36 down to 9, we'll say that was in the typical range for televisions. And they range up, and they basically can fit a few different channels on the same station frequencies, right? So this one, you'd have like channel 4, channel 24, channel 32. You know, these would all be stacked on the same channel frequency. And so whenever they're going through and flipping through there, you're basically going through these same multiple two channels, except you're kind of separating them out. And you would get the different channels throughout there. Whenever you switched over to digital, everything skipped up and was like, you know what? We're going to go through digital. It's a lot higher signal. And so whenever you go, if you know anything about sound waves, the higher frequency, the more, the tighter they are. So they're really close together. They go from going like this to higher frequency. They're just like little straight lines, and it can almost look solid. There's so much information in there, and that's what they do. There's so much information that they can pack in those frequencies that they go through and they set that information in there. Boom. You can get a whole lot more information coming through at once, which, think about it, 1080p video, 720p video, you're putting a lot more information through, so you need a much higher frequency. You need a lot more information to go through all at once, right? Makes sense. Well, that still leaves it basically because there's nothing else going down here. When there's nothing coming through on a TV station, it's called white noise. It's the white space. Nothing going through there. There's nothing being broadcast in that area. It has to be above a certain level because remember, if you do remember the older TVs, sometimes you would hear if a police broadcast or if a police car went by too close on some of the lower channels, you would actually hear conversation over it. Like you'd hear that coming through on the TV. Or if you had walkie-talkies, if you had certain telephones, they would come through and you could hear the talking on the TV. That is just because they were along the same frequency range. They weren't high enough. So using that kind of mentality, basically they skip past these first few levels, right? They don't go to these top ones where everybody's at now on the digital, basically these top 3, and they take rid of these like bottom 4 down here. Well, that still leaves like 2 or 3 levels right here in the middle that are just white space. There's no information that's broadcast on them, right? So there's no, but it is, you know, a radio frequency. They can pass information through there. So what Google's proposal was to buy up all the white space across the United States. Continental. I don't think they were going to go through for Alaska and Hawaii, but continental United States, they wanted to buy all of this white space. And the amount of money that they were going through was like, Congress was like, yeah, that's, well, what are you going to use it for? They wanted to buy all the white space so that they could provide free Wi-Fi internet for everyone across the United States. If you were in space of a radio tower or anything like that, telephone tower, television tower, anything that goes through and provides that frequency, which is a lot of places, you would be able to have a form of Wi-Fi. It wasn't going to be very fast. It was going to be maybe, I think what they were guesstimating it at was like 2 megabits per second. So basically it was about 5 or 6 times faster than dial-up, and they were going to try to do this. They're like, yeah, it's a great idea. They weren't going to try to kill out people that were going through that wanted the high-speed internet, like, you know, what I need. I wouldn't have been able to use it. I would have been able to browse the internet, check email, you know, maybe watch a video if I could on the internet, but it's not going to be something that was that big. And it was this great idea. You know what? Everybody should have access, should be able to have access to the internet for whatever it is. Regardless of how much, you know, they make or anything like that, we're going to go through and provide this. And I think they were going to say it was going to go through and basically it was just going to be added on as a FCC tax of like $4 or $5 a month added to your regular television bill or whatever it is, you know, any kind of phone bill or any communications bill. It was just going to be this base tax that was added on. It was like $4 or $5 a month for access anywhere in the continental United States. And guess who shot it down? Or guess who lobbied to shoot it down? Comcast, Time Warner, all those, basically the big 4, Comcast, Time Warner, Roadrunner, and something else, cable companies said no, because they're going to kill our profit. Bullshit. That was a wonderful idea. That was great. You know what? Internet for the masses. And they were already testing this stuff. They had the technology to do it. It would have taken them about a year to implement it. So basically by mid 2009, they would have had this in place if the Congress would have said yes. But because of Comcast and all these guys, and they send their lobbyists. A lot of people, if you don't know what a lobbyist is a person that literally gets paid by a company to go up there to Congress to try to go through and shake hands, talk with, get FaceTime with all these other congressmen and stuff like that to say, we don't want this to happen. The people that I represent, Comcast or whoever it is, says this is going to go through and kill the profits and everything like that. What is it going to take for us to get this to go through and not get taken place? Whether it's money exchange, whether it's whatever, that's what happens to make through that things don't always go through. And it's not always necessarily money, but a lot of times it's pat in the pockets of the people that are going to go through and make this happen. So that if you get this congressman and this congressman and this congressman to go through and say, no, we don't want that because the people that I'm representing, they say no, they don't want that. So they can shoot down all sorts of big shit that comes through. And that's terrible. Yeah, really. MC Pottercraft said, too bad Google can't buy the U.S. government yet. But, I mean, it's one of those things that whenever people have these great, wonderful ideas for stuff that could really be a game changer. And not necessarily for the fact of being a game changer of like, oh, well, they're trying to take money away. No. I don't see it that they're trying to take money away from big business. I see it that they're forcing big business to make themselves better in order to gain your business. That's how it should be considered. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this because it honestly doesn't do anything up there right now. If you were to go through and let's take Minecraft. All right, since we are typically known for Minecraft, let's take Minecraft as the example. If every game out there, actually, let's put Minecraft as the example. Here's the business model for gaming as it was before. You make a game, you charge $60 for it. People buy it. They play it. Whether they like it or they don't like it, another game's going to come along for $60 and they're going to buy it and they're going to play it. And some of them were great, some of them were good, some of them were fucking terrible. That even though they put a whole lot of money into advertising for it, so you bought it and you still got pissed off with the game and you didn't like it at all. GameFly came along and really helped out with that. That was a great job. They did an awesome part of there because people were actually able to just rent the games. You know what the big game companies said? That's a terrible idea. People aren't going to buy our games. And they're right. A lot more people started buying less games. So if you notice, there was actually a time period about a year and a half after GameFly came out that there was a lot less games coming out per week, basically. And there was a lot more coming out on big title dates and stuff like that. And you'd get a few of them that would come out together. And typically they were a better quality. There was less of these, like, okay, it's just a bullshit game that's going to fucking come out. But there was still quite a bit of games. And then you had a company come in that said, we got a whole different model altogether, right? We're going to go through and we're going to make a game and we're going to include, it's still going to be in an alpha stage. And if you want to pay $10, you can get the game. And that's it. You pay $10 and you'll get the game, the full game when it comes out. But you're just kind of in this process of testing. You're going to help us test it. You're going to go through and, if you find bugs or anything like that, you can put them through the community and support the community and tell me that way. We can go through and try to get them fixed. And even though there's been tens of thousands of hours into development on this game, even at this point in time, how much is it to buy Minecraft right now? Like full release?
25 maybe, I think.
$25. Less than half of what the cost for a full game is. Full game from like EA or something like that, $60 typically for 360 or anything along those lines.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about being online all the time to play it.
Don't have to worry about being online. You don't have to worry about, is this gonna work on my system? Because pretty much they have a demo for you to be able to download to see if it's going to work on your system. And most systems, it's going to work on it, at least at a base level. And everybody laughed when they were going through and said, "That's never going to work as a game. That's never going to work as a business model. You can't make any money that way." You have to have testers. You have to have, 15, 20 developers to go through it and actually make something to where it's worth a damn. You got to put more money and time into advertising the game to really get people interested in this. That's never going to work. And then this game continued, and I'm sure Notch and the people that were like in the same position as Notch, all these indie developers out there, were like, you can say that it's not going to work. But it's the same thing as me. You can tell me I'm never going to make it anywhere on YouTube. You can tell me that I'm never going to be able to go through and get any subscribers. I'm never going to have people that are going to want to watch my videos or listen to me. But I'm going to keep trying it. I'm going to keep working on it. Notch said the same thing. I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to get involved with this community. They're going to tell me what the problems are, where the problems are at. And they're going to... I'm going to go through and fix them. Get those problems out there. And having this interaction, people are going to own the game. Not just own it as in they purchased it, but they're going to own it. That's going to be a part of them. They're going to want it. They're going to want to support it. They're going to want to see it succeed. So they're going to tell a few of their friends. And then their friends are going to get involved with that community and see that it's so tight-knit. And exactly. And then 14 million sales later, with no advertising ever, the whole world's going to look around and say, maybe we should change up some of our development style because this guy over here has a good fucking idea. And now guess what? You see a lot more companies going through and be like, come on, be a part of the closed alpha. Basically if you buy it for $10, you're going to get the full game for $10 or $15, and and then so you'll be a part of the alpha. You can help us, give us bugs reports and everything like that. You can test the game out. You can tell us what we need to fix, and then we'll have a beta, right? Same thing. Maybe it'll cost $18 for the beta instead of $15. And then if you get on that part, you get the full game when it comes out, and that everybody's kind of changed their game. And that's now becoming, especially in the indie scene, is becoming more of a standard for how they're going to go through and market stuff. So, I mean, there's many different ways to view it, and there's many different ways to think about it and everything like that, but there's always got to be the game changers. And in that same sense, that's what I think Google would have done if they were able to buy that white space. They would have forced the tradition, the standard of what was going on in internet and communications and everything like that to bump up their game. Because basically they've been sitting like this. This has been the plateau ever since back in the day. And they're like, all right, we got this service. This is what we provide. You want it? Cool. Hop on in. Yep. We don't have to get any better. Because we're the only thing. There's only us. There's no competition. Google comes in and they say, you know what, we're gonna provide everybody this for free. Well, all these people are saying, well, I only really need it for that, so I'm not gonna use this anymore because I don't really need it. I just need that. Okay, I'll just jump to that. And then this business model goes through and fucking crashes because they have no information. They have no money out there. Nobody's coming in because they realize I don't really need that. That's not that much better than this. And that's a lot more expensive than this. Forces these people to say, you know what, for that same price, guys, all right, think of it as the home shopping network. All right, but that's not it, guys. For that same price, we're going to go through and also include this and this and this and this, which they didn't do before, but they're going to do it for that same price to get these people to come back onto here. They're forced to lower their prices or to include more services or improve the quality of their services because Google came along and said, we're just going to do this. Well, now we got to get better. That takes money. They don't want to spend that money. That's why everybody tries to fight against that. Or not everybody. That's why the big companies try to fight against that. We don't want to have to spend more money to deliver the same services to you. We don't want to do that. We want to get it for as low as possible. So yeah, that's my rant. I need to go take a break for a little bit, and I'm actually going to close this one down. Introversion with Prison Architect, that's another good one. That's another good one right there, Brute Claw. That's exactly the same thing. Introversion Software, which is a company that's got quite a few really great game titles, at their beck and call that they've gone through and won awards for. And that same thing. Hey, get in on the alpha. You get perks like having your names in the game. You can pay an extra $3 or $4 to get a warden or get a character and stuff like that in the game. Things that are really cool. Things that you'll never see. You will never see the likes of, I don't know about Ubisoft, maybe them, but I mean, you know, look at the big dogs out there. You'll never see them do that because they're so hard up for those, this is the way business should work, that you won't see them do that, at least for the next few years. Maybe someday they'll get on track, just like fucking Recording Institute of America should get on track, because the Recording Institute of America, when the iPods came out and they came out with iTunes, they said nobody will ever pay 99 cents for a single song. Why do you want to charge per song? That's retarded. People would rather pay $18 for 12 songs on an album. That was their mentality.
Don't like albums.
No, but that was their mentality. They'll never do that because there was never anything for them to compare it to. They'll never do that. And they laughed, and they scorned, and they said that no, it would never happen. And then the first year after iTunes got released, they had something like $2.8 billion in sales. And guess what? The record companies shut their mouth pretty fucking quick. And then they tried to go through and say that, like, they were trying to pass lawsuits and stuff saying that the information was stolen, like the technology was going through. Even though all the royalties were paid, they were trying to figure out some way to stop it, because album sales dropped because people realized, wait, there's only 11 songs on this album and I'm paying $18 for it. I can just get these 3 songs that I actually want to listen to for $3. And the record companies fucking just they were sick of it. They were tired because they were losing a lot of money. They said, you're going to be the death of the music, when actually it forced artists to go through and not just have the 3 songs on the album that sound good and a whole lot of fucking filler, but to make every single song count. So exactly. And don't get me wrong, there are certain albums that I'll buy the full album and I'll listen to it, like, because that's the way the artist intends for it to be. Is like, there's a story that plays out through this album, and you listen to the songs in this order, and they're placed that way for a certain reason. They develop a mood, and that's how it's supposed to go through. But anyways, long rant, and I need a break for a little bit, guys, so I'm going to go through and cut off this transmission. It's not going to be the end of it, though. I will be back on here in just a little bit, but I'm going to take a break for about 10-15 minutes. Get this one transferred over to YouTube's, and guys on YouTube, leave comments down below. Let me know what you think of this whole situation. And I don't know how long this video is. I know we've been talking for quite a bit, but I want to know what your opinions are about everything on here. I know this is going to be a little bit longer, but hope you enjoy it. Until next time, say goodbye, everybody. Actually, let me see if I can do this. No. Grant Talk Power. 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 No. Grant Talk Power. I wish it was. Grant Talk Power. Grant Talk Power. Yep. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Until next time, guys, I'm Dreamweaver23 saying game happy, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.